I didn't put two and two together. I didn't realize it was coming out on election day. So I think some people kind of maybe got lost in the mix like I did as well, that, that it came out during all the madness on election day. But here's how it went down. The top four teams were Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, and Miami. But here's the caveat in that too, is that you cannot have two conference champions in the top four with the first round bye. So remember, Oregon and Ohio State, they're both in the Big Ten. Only one of them can be in that top four. So you would take Ohio State out, and BYU would be that fourth team right now because they're predicting they would win their conference title.
Isn't that kind of wild? You don't even think about that. First of all, is that not kind of funny, though? Either you love sports or you love politics. So it's kind of funny how they're like, well, they don't really coincide a lot of times. That's kind of hilarious. But you're right. That does kind of put a little wrinkle in there that we didn't really understand. But I guess since Oregon beat Ohio State, that might make a favorable matchup for Ohio State in the long run. I know this is the first edition.
Yes. Yeah, and still a lot can change. There's several head-to-head matchups coming up in the next couple of weeks that will decide the top four in those first-round buys. But again, yeah, Oregon, Georgia, Miami, and BYU would have those first-round buys. So the first-round games would look like this. If it stayed the same, as of this Thursday morning, it would be Boise State against Ohio State, Alabama versus Texas, Notre Dame versus Penn State, and finally Indiana and Tennessee. So those are first-round games, man. It is going to be awesome. But again, you have to win your conference title to be one of those top four teams to get an automatic bye into that second round.
Dude, BYU fans have to be pumped, huh?
They should win their conference. They should be one of those top four teams to get a first-round bye. But again, like Oregon and Ohio State can't do it together. Let's see, like Georgia, Alabama, Texas, they're all in the same conference, so there's still a lot on the line as we go through the next couple of weeks. Boise State might be one of the top four teams when this is all said and done.
I think they could be in the mix for sure, man. Of course, with Mr. Ashton running that rock, we'll see what happens, though. Could this work out? I'm just kind of glad it's expanded, so at least we get a good shot at it. We'll try, right?
Yes, and this is, again, a little slice of March Madness, from college basketball, that maybe there will be some upsets. Maybe there will be some teams who felt like, hey, we deserve a shot at the national title. Well, guess what? If you finish in the top 12, you're going to get your shot. If you're outside the top 12, maybe you don't deserve to be there, but if you're in the top 12, you're going to get a chance. It's no longer just the top four teams in the country. It's the top 12. I think it's going to be awesome. And again, like I said, there are several critical head-to-head matchups coming up in the next couple of weeks that will decide who's in the top 12 and who's in the top four for those first-round buys. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, two predictions for sure. I bet you this expands at least to 16, if not more. And eventually, we talked about this on Monday, a computer will decide a lot of this. ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Deciding stuff like this.
Just run it through AI, guys. Run it through AI. It'll work. So it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. Let's talk a little NFL as well. We got Bengals and Ravens tonight. Look out. Here comes Cincinnati. The Bengals are coming on strong. They finally woke up from their slumber this season. So that's an interesting game on Thursday Night Football. Sometimes we get a clunker on Thursday night. This is not one of them. We'll see if the Bengals can get a little revenge on Baltimore. Maybe the biggest game of the weekend, at least when you look at teams' record, is our guy, Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders taking on your boy Russ. Let Russ cook, Russell Wilson, and the Steelers, man. Pittsburgh versus Washington, a big game. Like, what universe is this?
Right, a little sneak peek into what could happen later on in the year for sure. And then you're right about the game tonight between Baltimore and Cincinnati. I think the over-under, they think this is going to be a shootout like all other shootouts because Baltimore, not great against the pass and against Joe Burrow. I think the over is like 52.
Yeah, dude, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow head-to-head. A lot of points are going to be scored. It's going to be action-packed, and this is going to be, when you look at the AFC North, like this is going to be a huge game. Baltimore's been good all season long, and Cincinnati started very slow out of the gate, but they've turned things around in a hurry to try and salvage their season. So this is a very important game on Thursday night, and I know this is kind of out of context and kind of late to the game, but if you haven't seen the picture of Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin. I'm sure you've seen it, Patrick, right?
Yeah.
I guess he went as Joe Burrow as Halloween. He's a spitting image. It's so funny, and I just recently saw that, and I'm like, that's so appropriate, man. If you look just like the guy, dressed like you wore the Burrow number 9, it was awesome.
Run him out there and see what Macaulay can do.
Yeah, so big game Thursday Night Football. We mentioned Steelers and Commanders, maybe the big game of the weekend. But I got to give a shout out to my 49ers, man. They are finally getting healthy. They should have a number of guys coming back to the lineup this weekend as they play on the road at Tampa Bay, including Christian McCaffrey, man. We haven't seen him all season long. He returned to practice for the 49ers this week, and they are hoping, fingers crossed, that he's going to be ready to go this Sunday.
And I know they opened up the 21-day practice portal or whatever they call it, where they're going to start, taking a look at him. And I know that makes you think 21 days, that's 3 weeks, but they did the same thing with the Rams and Puka Nacua, and Puka was ready to play. So they are hopeful that it will happen.
Yeah, it's hard to say, man. We've been all holding our breath all season long, at least as 49er fans, about his return, especially because so many other guys have been hurt too. It's like, come on, man. Who's out there? I don't even know who some of these guys are. Don't throw the ball to Ronnie Bell. Come on.
My 10-year-old Ryan is pumped because he drafted him first in our fantasy draft. He finally gets to play him.
Finally. Hopefully he does play, and we've been waiting all season long. So 49ers and Bucks, that's another good one. The Chargers, they get the Titans. That should be a W for the Lightning Bolts. They should beat Tennessee, especially the Chargers being at home in that game. And the Rams will be on Monday Night Football. They got the Dolphins coming to town. So back-to-back games in L.A. on Sunday and Monday.
All right. Looks like we got a nice little spread ready for us.
Can't wait, man. Big weekend of NFL. And finally, let's wrap up the baseball season like this. More Dodger talk as we continue to celebrate the boys in blue after that big World Series championship. A lot of stuff has gone on in the last couple of weeks after that title. Clayton Kershaw declining his player option, but that it sure looks like he's going to come back to the Dodgers. He has said he's not ready to retire. I think this is just a formality that he's going to restructure a new deal, so he should be coming back for the Dodgers. Not a big deal.
I think he should just hang around because, he's great in the clubhouse. Yeah. I could almost feel him just becoming a coach. He feels like the old man who's just ready to step right into that role. It would be strange not to have him in the dugout.
Yeah, it would be very strange. And he has said he does not and will not wear another baseball uniform. So if he plays, he will be a Dodger. And he said he's not ready to retire. So it sounds like he will be a Dodger. So if you're a Dodgers fan, you're like, wait, hold on. He declined his player option on his contract. Don't worry. He's going to have, I think, a couple surgeries. I think he's at the shoulder, and I think like a foot surgery on his toe. So he's got a couple stuff he's going to get cleaned up in the offseason, but he should be back.
Kind of like Ohtani and his shoulder. He may be going under the knife.
Exactly. Shohei Ohtani going, in fact, I think it was Tuesday. I think he had it this week on his shoulder that we saw him injure it during the World Series. And, Dodger fans are probably thinking, well, how is this going to affect his pitching? Because he was supposed to return to the mound this upcoming season. So we don't know how that affects the timetable on his, off-season throwing program and when he's going to be able to do that again, because he's supposed to be able to. I know it was an incredible offensive season, but I think the Dodgers still want him to be able to do both, and they're planning for that in 2025.
Right, he finally got all the Tommy John stuff. We saw him throwing bullpen games, stuff like that. Now the shoulder did happen. From what I hear, it is just going to delay a little bit of his pitching in the beginning of the season, especially they're doing that one game in Japan, I believe. So a lot of Japanese fans are a little bummed because they will see Shohei, but they probably won't see him pitch.
I know, a homecoming, right? And dude, if he could make a start, in his home, his home country, that'd be amazing. But yeah, so a lot of things going on with the Dodgers behind the scenes. They said Mookie Betts is going to start at second or short. He's going to be out of the outfield next season. So the Dodgers just won the World Series title, and they're already game planning for next year.
So great to have Mookie, who really can play so many different positions. A lot of Dodger news we covered, even after they just had the parade and won their championship title. Unbelievable, man. That's why we got our guy Pep on Monday. A lot more will be happening. That's why we got him, Pep. Tell him how to get your stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens this weekend in the NFL. Some big games looming out there. Get my stuff on Inland Sports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got Inland Sports on YouTube. I know you're already hanging out on YouTube, so come find us. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.